The science behind time travel. Is it possible? Have you ever wondered if time travel could be real? From Back to the Future to Doctor Who, time travel has fascinated us for generations. The idea of jumping forward to the future or revisiting the past excites our imagination. But what does science say about time travel? Is it really possible, or is it just a wild fantasy from sci-fi movies? In this article, we'll dive into the science of time travel, explore whether it's possible, and how the laws of physics might one day make it a reality, or not. What exactly is time travel? At its core, time travel refers to the concept of moving between different points in time, much like we move between locations in space. While movies like Back to the Future depict time machines and portals, real-life science has its own take on how time travel could potentially work. However, it's not as simple as hopping into a machine and hitting go. The truth is, the idea of time travel challenges our basic understanding of time itself. Scientists have explored ways in which it could theoretically happen, and while it might not look like the flying DeLorean from Back to the Future, there are still some fascinating possibilities. How time works. The arrow of time. Before we get into time travel, let's understand how time works in the first place. Time moves in one direction, from past to present to future. This is known as the arrow of time. We experience it as a steady flow, and once a moment is gone, we can't relive it. But what if we could somehow change that flow? One of the most famous figures to dive into this question was Albert Einstein. His theory of relativity gives us a glimpse into how time might behave in unusual circumstances. According to this theory, time isn't fixed. It can change depending on speed and gravity. So, could we manipulate time in a way that allows us to travel through it? Let's see. Time dilation. Real-life time travel to the future. Time dilation is one of the most interesting consequences of Einstein's theory. It tells us that time moves at different rates for observers in different conditions. For example, if you're traveling very fast or near a massive object like a black hole, time slows down for you compared to someone who's standing still. In simpler terms, if you could travel close to the speed of light, time would pass more slowly for you than for someone on Earth. This means that if you went on a long space journey at near light speed and came back to Earth, you might find that years have passed on Earth, but only a few months or days have passed for you. This is essentially time travel to the future. In fact, astronauts on the International Space Station experience a tiny amount of time dilation because they're moving at high speeds. While the difference is incredibly small, it shows that time travel to the future is more than just a fictional idea. It's based on real science. What about time travel to the past? Here's where things get complicated. Time travel to the past is not as straightforward as moving forward. While time dilation offers a way to travel forward in time, going backward is a whole other challenge. One theoretical idea for time travel to the past is the existence of wormholes. A wormhole is like a tunnel through space-time, connecting two different points in time and space. In theory, if you could travel through a wormhole, you could potentially visit the past. But this idea is still just a theory. No one has discovered a wormhole, and we have no idea how to create or stabilize one. Another possibility comes from closed time-like curves, CTCs, which are loops in space-time that could theoretically allow you to travel back in time. However, this leads to the infamous grandfather paradox. Imagine going back in time and preventing your grandfather from meeting your grandmother. If that happened, you would never be born, which creates a problem. How could you have traveled back in time in the first place? This paradox shows how tricky and problematic time travel to the past could be. Can we really time travel? While time dilation is a proven phenomenon and gives us a glimpse of how time travel could work in the future, traveling backward in time remains largely speculative. The challenges of wormholes, closed time-like curves, and paradoxes make time travel to the past seem nearly impossible, at least with our current understanding of physics. However, scientists continue to explore these ideas, and future discoveries may shed more light on the possibility of time travel. For now, it remains a fun topic for science fiction stories and movies, but who knows? One day, we might uncover more about the nature of time and find ways to bend it in ways we never thought possible. Conclusion. Time travel. real or fantasy? In conclusion, the science behind time travel is fascinating, and while traveling into the future may be possible, in very specific, scientifically understood ways, traveling into the past remains a mystery. Time dilation has been proven in experiments, and it shows us that time isn't as fixed as we once thought. However, the challenges of traveling back in time, like wormholes and paradoxes, make it seem unlikely in the near future. For now, time travel is still largely a fantasy. But with ongoing research and breakthroughs in physics, it's always fun to wonder, will we ever have the technology to travel through time? Keep an eye on the future of science. You never know what might be possible.